We shall move to questions without notice. Are there any questions? I give the call to the Honourable the Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Foodbank's 2025 Hunger Report shockingly reveals that 20% of Australian households are severely food insecure and that parents are skipping meals so that their kids can eat. Commenting on Labor's cost of living measures, Foodbank has said that they, quote, didn't translate to food on the tables. Prime Minister, why are more Australians going hungry under Labor?
Call to the Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Well, the modern Liberal Party is not so much a broad church these days as a temple of doom. They talk everything down each and every day. They vote against every single cost of living measure that we put in place. They argue that opposing tax cuts somehow doesn't make a difference to the capacity of people to get by. They argue that cheaper medicines won't assist people to get the health care that they need. They argue that free TAFE is something that people don't value to be able to get a job and upskill themselves because they won't value it. They argue that the creation of over 1 million jobs in just over 8... And the interjects, they do it again, Mr Speaker. They won't learn. They didn't read Dennis Shanahan's comments over the last 24 hours. Because if they did... If they did...
Order. The member for Gippsland. Order. The Leader of the Nationals. I'm going to take temperature down, and I want to hear from the Leader of the Opposition on her point of order.
A point of order on relevance, Mr Speaker. Sledges don't feed people.
Order, no.
Can the Prime Minister give a straight answer?
No, resume your seat. That is. I've been trying to deal with this all week in terms of appropriateness of points of order, and I've been more than generous with the Leader of the Opposition and members, and to simply say that that is absolutely unacceptable. Order, no. We just can't have question time descend into this where people just get up and say what they feel like. Order. So I'm just going to counsel the Opposition Leader not to do that again. Okay, the Prime Minister was asked a question about cost of living measures and his policies regarding to food security. So he's going to be. It was a very broad question. I think everyone can agree with that. So the Prime Minister is being directly relevant. No more frivolous points of order. The Prime Minister has the call.
And those opposite haven't learnt. They interjected across, and they don't. If they don't want attention drawn towards the interjections which show their real views, they shouldn't make them. But the interjection from the member opposite, when I spoke about the more than 1 million jobs that have been created, the lowest unemployment rate that we have had of any government in the last 50 years, was to interject government jobs.
Order.
To interject government jobs, which exposes two things. One, that they don't understand the jobs that have been created in the private sector, and two, confirms their contempt for people who provide service delivery across there, including clearing out the waiting lists in Veterans Affairs that we inherited. People who'd served our nation in uniform, who then were denied their entitlements as a result of the cuts that were made by those opposite. And that's why we remember, Mr Speaker, they went to the election saying they would sack 46,000 public servants. And then they said they were just all in Canberra, ignoring the fact that public servants in Centrelink, in Veterans Affairs, in all of these communities are out there in their electorates as well as these electorates, and particularly in regional Australia provide such an important role. But of course, the Leader of the Opposition who asked this question was part of a government that ripped $20 million from food bank,
Order.
and then they have
Prime
the
Minister's time
hide
has
to raise food
concluded.
bank.